Testing 1, 2, 3. GC Rad 1 here, Yamaha Tdub Club. The weekend's coming. I know you're gonna get dirty, but you kind of gotta clean your bike in order to go get dirty again. But anyhow, yeah, you saw me do the quick wash on the bike, and I just blew through that because you should have already watched Tdub Kids video on how to wash your bike, and I don't always follow the rules. I just get it done, but I will show you what I do. More importantly, how I clean the chain, because I like to get it all the way back down the clean, but then as soon as you clean it, you got to get the water out. That's why I use I use a ton of WD-40, spray that down. But I'll show you a little detail trick too, of what I do on the engine and on the components. WD-40, I use a ton of this stuff. Usually I buy it in the gallon drums and I have a little spray bottle, but in my recent move I haven't unpacked everything, and I had one can in my go box, so I was able to get that. There's a couple cans laying around, but I like to use this stuff a lot. It's great for metal, and it's also great for rubber and plastic, because rubber and plastic are a petroleum product. So this kind of puts back some of that natural ingredient in it on a surface. I learned from the RC car industry, plastics like to be lubricated, and this is a great lubricant for plastic, I found. I don't know if that technically to be true, but I know pretty much everyone that's cleaned their RC rigs, they tend to spray them down with WD-40 afterwards, just to kind of put some nurturement back into the plastic material. It's like hair conditioner for your hair. This is like metal conditioner or material conditioner for your metals and plastics and rubbers, if you stay on top of it and keep on it. But also too, I'll show you, like, it's also good because you start looking at these engines and after a few years they just look like dry and beat up and disgusting, and that's because that water has just sat on it so much. So after I wash it, I will typically just spray it all down. Like, I use a lot. And the exhaust, yeah, it's gonna smoke, but I'll show you a little detail of that. But it's good. It's good stuff. And then let me see if it can do the spray. I mean, if you're trying to take photos of your bike, I like just how it makes everything look. The pipe looks like not from 500 years old. It looks fresh and current and new. But yeah, I'll wipe it down a little bit afterwards, just to kind of like knock some excess down. But I think it's just kind of a good way to take care of your rig, and dadgum, it looks good when you get it all wiped down. And water is not the friend of metal. WD-40 is the friend of metal and plastics and rubber. So I will use it not sparingly. And also too, I think guys will use it, they'll spray underneath their fenders on like muddy, motocross races. They'll spray WD-40 pretty heavy duty underneath the fenders just to keep the mud from sticking to it and stuff. So there's a lot of cool uses for WD-40. I'm sure there's some other things. I'm sure there's some better stuff out there, but I'm old school. This stuff's been around for 100 years, I think. I don't know how long it's been around. It's been around as long as I've been a kid. So that's half of 100. So, yeah, I use it. I'll show you some more little details. We'll keep on cracking at this. Yeah, take a look at these shock boots. They look dry after washing. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm not afraid. Not afraid. Just use it. Just use it. My little skimped up spot on my man racks. See that crusty mirror? It's been beat up by the limbs and just kind of has a dead look to it. Just spray it. I mean, it ain't gonna hide the scratches. The scratches are gonna be there. Those scratches are just little valleys that need to bring some juice back to it. And you know, hit that chrome too, because you know that chrome will rust. And you know, all your cables, like everything can just get wiped down with WD-40. Your turn signals, you want them to look fresh and black again, wipe those down. Just get to it, my friend. Make your Tdub look joyous again. Plastic, it all likes to drink the WD-40. And all them little rubber components up here, just it all likes to be rejuvenated. Spray them cables. This little plastic bumper guard for the Pro Taper chin pad, or whatever you want to call it. Face plant pad. It's got that rubber hanging out on the ends there. Give it a little wipe down. Give it a little rejuvenation. Everything on the dash. All those plastic housing bits. Any exposed cable, wires, any of it. Just get to it. It just takes that last, the last thing that was touching the surface of it was the water. Water, I don't know what water's good for, except for drinking. It's fun to play in, but it's not good for your bike. So, unless you have a water-cooled bike, then it's good for the inside, but even that, you're gonna run some like water wetter or water cool, or I forget the different stuff that we used to use at the shop, but metal, it all likes WD-40. Only thing metal that doesn't like WD-40, well, it might like it, but you're not gonna like it, is your disc brake rotor. So whatever you do, you'll find out real quick if you accidentally sprayed your front disc rotor with the WD-40, because you're not gonna have any front brakes. And on a Tdub, I'd say almost 85 to 90% of my braking's done with the front brake. So yeah, man, just WD-40 it up. You know what else likes WD-40? It's all your plastic back here. Yeah, these are not stock. These are the Cherubies dual sport universal turn signals. I like these because look, my rack is out to here. These are sitting right here on the rear rack. And you know what else likes the WD-40? Mr. FMF here, he likes the WD-40. Oh yeah, make it look pretty. You spent all that money on it, might as well make it look good, or keep it looking good. It looked good the day you put it on, but the first day you got it out in the mud, then what? The rack, it needs a little WD-40. This little rubber pad up here on top, it likes the WD-40. Make it look black again. Man, look at that fender action. You know, the license plate frame, the plastic, that rear fender. It all looks freshy fresh when you wipe it all down. Make it look good. Look at that bike. Look how it just looks like it's ready for a photo shoot. Let's see, can you see those cables in there? You can't quite see those cables in there, but let me spin you over here. Look at those. Spray it all down. Look good. And your keeping it from cracking, because these things over time they just dry up, and what happens when they dry, they crack. So it's kind of like, and it's a good opportunity for you to kind of go over your whole bike and just inspect all the bits and pieces. Looking good. Look at that right there. This is a 2016 Yamaha TW200 with 9,000 miles. Let me check. Hold on. Yep, it's got 9,000 miles on it. But look how good looking this engine is. I think it looks pretty dope. I think it's ready to go ride. So yeah, take care of your bike. So that way when you sell it, it'll look that much better for the second life or the third life. And like I said, it's always great just to spend time going over your whole bike and seeing things. You might find something like, oh, that little thing's busted, or oh, that cable's fraying, or hey, that's coming loose, or you know, it's always good to just spend time going over every bit. Like, yeah, that needs replacing, but all right, but at least I know it needs replacing. I go on next time. Yeah, that foot peg's bent back from hitting all those rocks on the Redonda Ridge, but and yeah, the foot peg's already cracking back here, but that's because I'm like hitting stuff and folding them pegs back, but it's just allowing it to fold up that much further up. But other than that though, just clean your bike, go over it, check it, and you know, the chain is the most important thing, because that thing's getting all the abuse. All 196 cc's getting dropped in first gear. How much do you weigh? 185? 255? 155? It doesn't matter. That chain is taking the clutch drop and transferring it to that big fat tire, and you're just snatching on that chain. So take care of that chain, take care of that chain, take care of that chain. You clean your bike. What else you gonna do? You're gonna go ride. So might as well make it look good before you go ride. At least when you like get out of the truck, it's like, woo! And then your friends are like, oh man, look how clean your bike is. That's right. Look how clean my bike is. Now let's go get them dirty. Right? Let's do this. All right. She looking good. Talladega National Forest is calling me. Clean. I don't mind putting a little bit of cleaning on the tire. The spokes on the TW actually seem to be like a really not a good, they don't have like a good metal finish to them. They're very dry. So they require, I think these spokes will rust really easy. So I think they require a little bit of juice to keep them lubricated. Again, water. They don't like water. They only like water when you're splashing through the water and having fun. But then they like to take a bath. They like to be clean, and then afterwards, they like to be taken care of. And then you gotta do the other side. And then the in-betweens. It's a labor of love process. But if you want it to look good, the only way to do it is to just get down and do it. But then too, it's like, you're not just doing it for looks, you're doing it for the longevity of your bike. And this is a good way to inspect, like, okay, do I got any bent spokes? Is any of them insanely loose? But of course they're not insanely loose, because you do your maintenance, your race prep, and check the spokes. So of course they're not loose, because you know they're not loose. It's like, man, we've had bikes come into the shop and the spokes are so loose, you'd think like they'd just change lane just by leaning over. The spokes are so loose. They're like, your rim is about to fall off of your hub, and guess what? Your tires are attached to those. I think it's time. But these bikes aren't high horsepower bikes. I don't think they're getting loose like the big dual sport bikes. You can't clean all the way across in one stroke. You gotta kind of get it from this side and then go around on the other side and get it crazy wide rims. Again, I think these rims are as wide as, if not wider than the big dual sport bikes. Crazy wide rims. The chain's the most important thing. The chain takes all the abuse and he gets no love. You guys be riding on these things and not oiling them and just snatching on them, dropping it in first, yanking it in second, asking you to climb up some huge hill. But yeah, after I wash it, the first thing I do is spray the chain down and get with WD-40 to get all the water dissipated out of the O-rings and all that. And I soak it pretty good because I want to make sure that all the water's gone. Then, I mean, you got to think about it. This tire is wider than most, big, huge dual sport bikes. I weigh 185, you may weigh 255, you may weigh 155. 155 just means you get to drop the clutch more violently. The bigger you are, you may be more gingerly on the bike, but you're still putting all that tension when the bike gets loaded up and you're trying to go up that hill. So you're asking a lot from your chain. And this bike has 9,000 miles on it. I got the stock chain all the way to about 4,000 miles. I went all the way to the end of the snails on the stock chain. I'm on number 4 here at 9,000 miles. So this chain's going to last me quite a bit longer. And it should, because it was an expensive chain. It's a DID. But at the same time, if you just take care of it, it just allows the bike to run that much more efficiently. I don't know. That's the one thing I'm kind of freakish about. And I'm going to oil it or lube it up properly before I go ride, but I'll let it sit overnight with the WD-40 like this, and then I might put it around in the yard just to warm up the chain a little bit. That's usually the best time to lube your chain, is after a ride, but that's mainly more on my street bike stuff. Dirt bike, I'm going to oil the chain before I go ride, and this is what I'm using right now. Take care of your chain. Take care of your chain. Take care of your chain. Love it and it'll love you back. And also too, this is a really good place to just, make sure your safety link's on. Make sure it's going in the right direction. You do know which way your chain link's supposed to be, right? Okay. Alligator back. Alligator back on top. Alligator back on top. That way if you're going through the rocks, it's less likely to get bounced off. And yeah, you can tell, like, you're gonna go, this bike is really low to the ground, more so than a 18-inch wheel or a 19-inch wheel, 18-inch desert wheel, but it's got a lot of rubber, so it's still a lot higher off the ground. But this Tdub's 14-inch back wheel, so that just means that the chain is sitting lower to the ground, and it's gonna take the abuse. All right, take care of your chain. That's all. Yeah, look at that. Ba-bam! Looking good, looking good, looking good. And yeah, it's gonna be dirty in 2 seconds as soon as you hit the first dirt section, but on the way to the dirt, and when you get gas before you drop into the dirt, people are going to be looking at your bike and going, man, look at that thing, it's so clean. But I guess when you come out of the woods, they're looking at, man, that guy just had so much fun. I don't know. Like I said, the benefits of cleaning your bike are kind of a, you know, there's a couple of different purposes for cleaning the bike. Just make it look good, but then also too, it's when you can do a lot of visual inspection, just checking all the cables and checking all the bolts, and just it's a great time to do visual maintenance. All right, GC Rad 1, Yamaha Tdub Club, over out. Get to wiping down your bike. See you in the dirt side. Peace.